on Saturday. Just how important is it to get the season started off 1-0?
Well, there are about a handful of FBS teams out there that lost to FCS teams this past weekend. So we're fortunate to get a win, but we need to play better. And I don't want to take anything away from Liberty. I thought they had a great plan. They got a great coaching staff and a lot of good players on that team, and we were very fortunate to win. So we've got a lot of improvements to make, but I don't want to take anything away from a great effort by Liberty.
Just looking ahead to Saturday's game against Carolina, what are some of the areas you think this team does need to improve on?
Well, a little bit of everything. I think Carolina had a totally great performance in all three areas: offense, defense, and kicking game. Their offense, of course, you score 62 points. That's impressive in itself. But then defensively, I don't know if anybody realizes how hard it is to shut a team out, especially a good offensive team like Elon. And then their special teams were fantastic. So we've got a lot of areas that we've got to improve on to be competitive this Saturday.
For you and the coaching staff, is it difficult, when to play a team with a totally all-new coaching staff and an all-new game plan?
Yeah, it was hard for us against Liberty this past weekend. We weren't real sure what we were going to see from Turner and his coaching staff, and got some of the same issues, a little bit different look defensively than we're used to, and then offensively they give you the up-tempo stuff, which is really a problem because it forces your defenders to try to line up and play in a hurry, and typically that's when you make a lot of mental mistakes when you're going too fast, so they stress you out there. And then they got one of the more talented teams in the country. I think offensively maybe the best running back in the conference and one of the best in the country in Giovanni Bernard, and then the great quarterback Bryn Renner does a great job. A really fast group of receivers, tight ends that can stretch you vertically down the field, and one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best. Jonathan Cooper and that crowd up front are really talented, and good defensive guys, good special teams guys. I mean, this is a complete football team. We've got a heck of a challenge Saturday.
How important is it for people not to make judgments about your team after 1 week? Because your Orange Bowl year is a great example. It didn't look all that great after 1 or 2 weeks, but it takes a while before you can do something like that.
Yeah, well, I think, Danny, we really are a team in transition right now. We've lost a lot of old players from last year's team, and I've told people over and over again, we've got a lot of talent on this football team. It's just young guys, and it's not going to happen overnight. We've got to develop these guys. We've got to develop in a hurry to be competitive this weekend. I think North Carolina's team's really special. We're going to play great football, but it's going to take us a while to get all these guys going in the same direction. I'd love for it to happen Saturday.
Can you imagine how hard for the North Carolina players have gone through, just the turmoil they've gone through? And that's something that could tear a team apart or bring them together. It's just must have been really hard on everybody.
Well, I think, players have a lot going on anyway, without those other distractions. Just the classes are tough. They have some of the same kind of family problems that we have as coaches and in our families. I mean, there are things going on with student athletes every day that have nothing to do with football, and it's all those distractions that kind of drive you crazy as a coach. And so, I'm sure it's been tough on their players, but from their performance last week, they've rallied. It looks like they've come together pretty good.
The way they run their offense so fast, are there going to be situations this week where your defensive guys, you're not ready and you're just going to have to go, well, just stop, just do what you got to do to stop at this play? Yeah,
it's what they do is that, the up-tempo stuff forces you into making mistakes. And your defenders, our kids are going to be trying to figure out who to cover, and they hope that you're going to turn somebody loose a few times during the game, and that happened last week with Elon. And then you forget that they got a great running game. Got one of the best backs in the conference, if not the country, in Giovanni Bernard. And so now you're trying to cover everybody, and you forget that there's a pretty special running back there in the backfield. So we've got our work cut out for us, and the up-tempo gives you a lot of problems defensively.
Coach, how much of a benefit will it be for you guys having some film to work off of going into this game compared to the Liberty game?
Yeah, I think it hurt us last week not really having a good beat on what we were going to get. And some of the things that they did to us, caused us some problems that we hadn't prepared for as well as we probably should have. But at the same time, I think, we're going to get a chance to look at North Carolina, but they get a chance to look at us a little bit. And I know Larry said in the paper they didn't do much. They were pretty basic offensively. I can tell you, we didn't save anything for Liberty. We had to pull out all the stops to beat those guys. So I'm sure we'll see some different wrinkles out of Carolina, both offensively and defensively. But I think seeing them a little bit's going to help our team.
What do you do different to make sure the offense gets off to a faster start in this game? Because they'll need to, especially to keep up with that Carolina offense.
Yeah, we started out really sluggishly on the offensive line. That was a problem. I think we had three and outs, or maybe 4 3-and-outs right in the blocks, and most of them were because of missed blocks. We had a really bad holding penalty that backed us up and gave them great field position, which led to their first touchdown. So, we'd like to see our offensive line continue to progress and improve as we go through the season. It's got to for us to be good offensively. And then I thought as the game went on, the skill guys let us down a little bit. We didn't catch some balls. We made some bad throws. Didn't make some really smart runs. Backed up a couple times and gave up ground, lost yardage in the running game. So everybody's got a hand in it, but I think we need to start fast this Saturday or it's not going to be good.
Talk about that the Carolina defense they're going up against. Like you said, they have a lot of athletes and whatnot, so it's going to present a challenge for the offense to get off to a fast start, right?
Yeah, a little different than what we're used to seeing. The 4-2-5 scheme that they've been very successful with at Southern Miss, and shut out Elon last week. I think Elon's a pretty good offensive football team. I think it's really hard to shut out anybody today in college football. The offenses are so good, but we got a challenge. I mean, it's going to be a lot of good athletes, good physical front people, and secondary guys that can run.
As for the defense, they're going to be going up against this fast tempo offense that Carolina will provide. Just getting ready for that one as far as like the conditioning and having your guys ready to go and to keep up with that pace.
Well, the pace is very concerning. It forces you to make mistakes. I mean, that's pretty much what they're trying to get, is for you to not get lined up properly, not be in the right zones, not cover the right guys. But they've got the great running back in Giovanni Bernard, and quarterback runner special. I think their offensive line, Jonathan Cooper in that crowd, that's a really good offensive line. A couple tight ends that can stretch you vertically, and a lot of fast receivers. So it's the real deal. You not only got a great scheme, but you got great players running.
How's Bud feeling right now? I know you said you were hoping he'd wake up and feel a lot better Monday morning on Saturday. Will he be ready for Saturday?
I don't know. He didn't practice last night, so we'll see. We'll take a day at a time, but certainly concerning. One of the things that hurt us this past Saturday is we had some players who had missed quite a bit of practice time, and they actually got to play in the game and didn't play well. And that's your problem. You want to get guys back out on the field, but if they miss too much practice time, it's hard to play well.
Here's a topic that'll come up each week, every ACC game. You're playing a good quarterback this week, and you've got one, Carolina's got one, everybody's got one. Talk about how you just have to have one to be good in this league.
It's hard to be a good football team without a good quarterback, and you see it time and time again. You can have 21 really good football players out there offensively and defensively, and if the 22nd guy's a quarterback that can't play, you're in trouble. And this just happens to be a really special year in the ACC where there are probably 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks that anybody would like to have, and some of the younger quarterbacks we don't know a lot about, but they may come on. But this is a quarterback-dominated league right now, so every Saturday out, defenses better be ready to play.